Another type of reading questions is called vocabulary questions or vocabulary in context. These questions will test your understanding of specific words that have been presented in the passage. Remember that these questions are not about analyzing the passage, so you aren't likely to find any clues in the reading passage. These questions can be spotted because they ask you to identify or explain the meaning of a word. The best way of scoring on this section is to define the word to yourself before looking at the available options. Pick the choice that most resembles what you know the word to mean. So first define it to yourself and then match it with the options that you have in the question. There will be about 3 to 5 questions for each reading passages. Questions of this type normally appear in one of these 3 forms. Like the word in passage is closest in meaning to. It could be best replaced by which of the following, and the phrase in the passage means. Alright, dealing with these kind of questions is basically easier than the other types. Since in this type you don't need to analyze anything or you don't need to infer meaning. You just need to read the text and find the meaning of a word. The very first thing to do is to locate the word you're being asked to define and reread the surrounded sentences carefully. In some cases, you might not know the meaning of a word. Just by reading the context, you might be able to guess the meaning and find the correct answer. You may be able to find some clues by studying the context of the sentence or discover some examples of the word you need to define. In the second place, you need to know the prefix and suffix and roots, because it's really important. You can deconstruct the word to help you understand what it may mean. For example, you may not recognize the word demote, but if you break down the word, you find D, a prefix that means remove, take away, or lower. Now that you know this, look for a definition or synonym that means remove or take away. Well, another thing that you can do is to use word clues to eliminate choices. That means take the word you're being asked to define and replace it with your available options. For example, we used to laugh at their antics. If you have got the options, or if you've got the choice of pain and behavior, replace it with antic and decide which one fits the context better. So that would be, we used to laugh at their behavior, or we used to laugh at their pain. If the context, if the plot is speaking about the furniture of a house or the system which a house is designed, definitely behavior and pain cannot be the answer, and antic would be the only choice. Well, as usual, there are tricks around, so you gotta be prepared for it. I do recommend you to boost your vocabulary knowledge if you want to answer these questions properly. You gotta watch out for words that share the same prefix, root, or suffix, but means different things. For example, we've got the word mislead, which means to trick, and we've got the word misplace with the same prefix, however with a different meaning. That means to lose. So you have to be careful about these tricks. You got to build up and boost your vocabulary knowledge in order to be prepared enough to, let's say, carry out the text easily and also properly. In this part, we'll have another example that focuses on vocabulary questions. Alright, here we've got a passage, or let's say a sample passage of TOEFL IBT. The question is, the word deserted in paragraph 1 is closed in meaning to dangerous, dry, empty, old, and falling down. As the question suggests, this is a kind of vocabulary question, so the techniques of these kind of questions need to be applied. Okay, now we've got the word deserted. So for the first thing, we need to locate the word in the passage, the word deserted in the passage. Afterward, we need to read the surrounding sentences, the sentences which come before or after this key word. So the previous sentence or sentences are 70% of the people of Australia live in cities near the coast. The middle is nearly deserted. So these are the sentences. Alright, by reading the previous sentences, we come to the fact that, the majority of people in Australia live near the coast. As the sentence says, 70% of the people in Australia live in cities near the coast. That leaves the middle of the country nearly empty. So that means the majority or most of the people live near the coast, and the middle is nearly empty. So for sure the word deserted is the same with the meaning of empty. And now you should check the word empty in the options of the questions for the proper answer. Now let's look at the passage again. As you see, the previous sentence comes here. 70% of the people in Australia live in cities near the coast. The middle of the country is nearly deserted. So in the options, we have the word empty, so definitely letter C will be the proper answer.